a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Robert Pattinson. Robert Douglas Thomas Pattinson is an English actor, model and musician. He started his film career by playing Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire in 2005. He later got the leading role of vampire Edward Cullen in the film adaptations of the Twilight novels by Stephenie Meyer, which consisted of 5 films between 2008 and 2012 that combined grossed over $3.3 billion in worldwide receipts. Twilight brought Pattinson worldwide fame, and established him among the highest paid and most bankable actors in Hollywood. In 2010, Pattinson was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, and also in the same year Forbes ranked him as one of the most powerful celebrities in the world in the Forbes Celebrity 100. In 2009, he portrayed Salvador Dalí in Little Ashes. That same year, a documentary film, Robsessed, about the actor's fame and popularity, was released. He appeared as a troubled young man in Remember Me, and also starred in a romantic drama, Water for Elephants. His performance as a tough, cold-hearted and calculating billionaire in David Cronenberg's Cosmopolis earned him critical praise. He gained further critical appreciation for his performances in David Michôd's futuristic Western The Rover, in Cronenberg's satire drama Maps to the Stars, in James Gray's The Lost City of Z, as an aide-de-camp to an explorer who disappeared in the Amazon while looking for an ancient city, and in the Safdie brothers' Good Time. Pattinson started his career as a model at the age of 12. In 2013, Dior signed him as the face of their fragrances. In 2016, he also became the first brand ambassador of their menswear collection. Pattinson composes and plays his own music. He sang songs for the Twilight film series and the 2008 independent comedy drama film How to Be. He is a supporter of the End Child Prostitution and Trafficking campaign, Parents and Abducted Children Together, and the Go campaign, a non-profit organization that raises awareness and funds to help orphans and vulnerable children throughout the world. He became ambassador of the latter in 2015 to help raise international awareness of it. He is also a member of International Medical Corps and has promoted and shared details about cancer through PSAs to raise awareness about the disease. Early life. Pattinson was born in London. His father, Richard, imported vintage cars from the United States, and his mother, Claire, worked for a modeling agency. Pattinson has 2 elder sisters, Victoria and singer Elizabeth, Lizzie, Pattinson. Growing up in Barnes, London, he attended Tower House School until he was 12, and then the Harrodian School. He became involved in amateur theatre at the Barnes Theatre Company. He auditioned and was cast in a small role in Guys and Dolls. He next auditioned for Thornton Wilder's Our Town, and was cast as George Gibbs. He also appeared in Anything Goes and Macbeth. He caught the attention of an acting agent in a production of Tess of the D'Urbervilles and began looking for professional roles. 2004-07, career beginnings. Pattinson had supporting roles in the German made-for-television film Ring of the Nibelungs in 2004 and in director Mira Nair's costume drama Vanity Fair, although his scenes in the latter were deleted and only appear on the DVD version. In May 2005, he was scheduled to appear in the UK premiere of The Woman Before at the Royal Court Theatre, but was fired shortly before the opening night and was replaced by Tom Riley. Later that year he played Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. For this role he was named that year's British Star of Tomorrow by The Times and had more than once been hailed as the next Jude Law. In 2006, Pattinson appeared in The Haunted Emma, a psychological thriller, aired on BBC 4 on the 31st of October, and he earned favourable reviews. The stage praised his performance by saying that played the airman of the title with a perfect combination of youthful terror and world-weary cynicism. On the 19th of February 2007, he appeared in a supporting role in a one-off television drama based on the best-selling novel by Kate Long, The Bad Mother's Handbook. 2008-13, breakthrough with the Twilight Saga and widespread recognition. In 2008, Pattinson landed the role of Edward Cullen in the film Twilight, based on Stephenie Meyer's best-selling novel of the same name, according to TV Guide. Pattinson was initially apprehensive about auditioning for the role, fearful that he would not be able to live up to the perfection expected from the character. The film was released on the 21st of November 2008 and turned Pattinson into a movie star overnight. Although the film received mixed reviews, critics praised his and co-star Kristen Stewart's chemistry in the film. The New York Times called Pattinson a capable and exotically beautiful actor, and Roger Ebert said he was well chosen for the role. His other release of 2008, How to Be, was a low-budget comedy drama film written and directed by Oliver Irving. It screened at a number of film festivals, earned mixed reviews from critics. Pattinson then starred as Salvador Dalí in the film Little Ashes, a Spanish-British drama directed by Paul Morrison. He also starred in a short film The Summer House directed by Daisy Gilly. This short film later re-released as a part of an anthology film titled Love and Distrust, comprising 5 short films following 8 individuals from diverse backgrounds on their quest for true contentment. He reprised his role as Edward Cullen in the Twilight sequel The Twilight Saga, New Moon, which was released on the 20th of November 2009. The film earned a record-breaking $142,839,137 opening weekend and an overall run of $709,827,462 worldwide, though the film received negative reviews. Film critic Michael Phillips from the Chicago Tribune said that Pattinson was still interesting to watch, despite the bad makeup. Bill Goody Kuntz from the Arizona Republic said that Pattinson's actually not in the film that much, but he does his best when he's around. And Michael O'Sullivan of The Washington Post noted that his acting was uniformly strong. In 2009, Pattinson presented at the 81st Academy Awards. On the 10th of November 2009, Revolver Entertainment released the DVD Robsessed, a documentary which details Pattinson's life and popularity. His next film, The Twilight Saga, Eclipse, was released on the 30th of June 2010, earning $698,491,347 worldwide. The film received mixed reviews. Kirk Honeycutt of The Hollywood Reporter praised Pattinson's performance, stating that makes you forget the white makeup and weird eye contact lenses to focus on a character torn between his love for the human Bella and the knowledge that she'll have to let go of her beating heart if she's to stay with him forever. Will Lawrence of Empire Online praised the performance of 3 leads of the film by saying that all 3 corners of the love triangle look sharper than before. The most accomplished actor, Stewart, still lip-biting, Lautner still back-flexing, and Pattinson not fully shaking that fiery-eyed pout. But all have grown into their roles, cutting loose in a film that sidesteps the melodrama of its prequels. Pattinson executively produced and starred in the film Remember Me, which was released on the 12th of March 2010. Though the film received mixed reviews, some critics praised his performance. Jake Coyle of the Associated Press said that the young actor has an unmistakable screen presence. However, in Remember Me, he pours it on thickly and self-consciously, with low eyes, sleeves rolled up just so, and cigarette drooping artfully from his mouth. Tyler is a reluctant romantic. Ian Nathan of Empire Online stated that this is the best thing he's done. And Kirk Honeycutt of The Hollywood Reporter praised his and co-star Emily Duravar chemistry in the film, stating the scenes between Pattinson and Duravin exude genuine charm. In 2011, he starred as Jacob Jankowski in Water for Elephants, a film adaptation of the Sarah Gruen novel of the same name. The film received mixed reviews, but Pattinson's performance was praised. Film critic Richard Corliss from Time praised Pattinson for being shy and watchful, and said that he radiates a slow magnetism that locks the viewer's eyes on him, ultimately calling him star quality. Mick LaSalle from the San Francisco Chronicle stated that Pattinson succeeded at holding his own at the center of a major feature and was endlessly watchable. Peter Travers of the Rolling Stone said he smolders in the film, and Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter said that Pattinson is entirely convincing as Jacob. Pattinson reappeared as Edward Cullen in the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 1, which was released on the 18th of November 2011 and earned $705,058,657 at the box office. The film received mixed to negative reviews from critics. Review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reports that 24% of critics gave the film a positive review, and the site's consensus reads, "slow, joyless, and loaded with unintentionally humorous moments." Breaking Dawn Part the 1st of may satisfy the Twilight faithful, but it's strictly for fans of the franchise. He played Georges Duroy in a film adaptation of the 1885 novel Bel Ami, and the film had a world premiere at the 62nd Berlin International Film Festival. It was released on the 12th of February 2012. Pattinson starred in the film adaptation of Don DeLillo's Cosmopolis, directed by David Cronenberg. The film competed for the Palme d'Or at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival. Though the film was well received, Pattinson's performance was praised. Justin Chang of Variety wrote, "A nearly precise match of filmmaker and material, Cosmopolis probes the soullessness of the 1% with a cinematic equivalent of latex gloves. Pattinson's excellent performance reps an indispensable asset." Robbie Collin of The Telegraph stated that it is a sensational performance from Robert Pattinson. Yes, that Robert Pattinson as Pecker. Pattinson plays him like a human caldera, stony on the surface, with volcanic chambers of nervous energy and self-loathing churning deep below. And Owen Gleberman of Entertainment Weekly stated, "Pattinson, pale and predatory even without his pasty white vampire makeup, delivers his frigid pensée with rhythmic confidence." Pattinson one last time appeared as Edward Cullen in the final installment of Twilight Saga. The Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, which was released on the 16th of November 2012, and has grossed over $829 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing film of the Twilight series. At Rotten Tomatoes, the film currently holds a 48% Rotten rating, based on 174 reviews, with the consensus stating, "It is the most enjoyable chapter in the Twilight Saga." But that's not enough to make Breaking Dawn Part 2 worth watching for filmgoers who don't already count themselves among the franchise converts. In late 2013, he appeared in a black and white short film with model Camille Rowe, as the new face of Dior Homme fragrances. 2014 present, critical acclaim and upcoming projects. In May 2014, two of Pattinson's films had their premieres at 2014 Cannes Film Festival. First, Pattinson starred in David Michôd's futuristic western The Rover, alongside Guy Pearce and Scoot McNairy. The film had its premiere out of competition at the festival. For his performance of a naive simpleton member of the criminal gang, Pattinson received rave reviews. Scott Founders of Variety said that Pattinson, who turns out to be the film's greatest surprise, sporting a convincing Southern accent and bringing an understated dignity to a role that might easily have been milked for cheap sentimental effects. He further added that a career-defining performance for Pattinson that reveals untold depths of sensitivity and feeling. Todd McCarthy, writing for The Hollywood Reporter, wrote that Pattinson delivers a performance that, despite the character's own limitations, becomes more interesting as the film moves along. Jessica Kiang, in her review for The Playlist, noted that turns in a performance that manages to be more affecting than affected. Next, he reunited with Cronenberg in Maps to the Stars, a satirical drama described as a darkly comic look at Hollywood excess. The film competed for the Palme d'Or at the 2014 Cannes Film Festival. In the film, he played the role of Jerome Fontana, a limo driver and struggling actor who wants to be a successful screenwriter. Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph summed up his performance as winningly played. In 2015, two of his films were premiered at 65th Berlin International Film Festival in February. First, he appeared in Werner Herzog's adaptation of Gertrude Bell's biopic film Queen of the Desert alongside Nicole Kidman and James Franco. Pattinson appeared as T.E. Lawrence aka Lawrence of Arabia in the film, which Jeffrey McNabb of The Independent described as comic and a very long way removed from Peter O'Toole. He plays Lawrence of Arabia as a sharp-tongued, sardonic figure who can see through the pretensions of his bosses and colleagues. David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter called his role brief but significant, and concluded that the easy camaraderie in his scenes with Kidman is appealing. Sam Adams of IndieWire said that Robert Pattinson gets relatively high marks for his brief turn as the bona fide T.E. Lawrence. Next he starred in Anton Corbijan's Life as Life magazine photographer Dennis Stock. The film deals with the friendship between actor James Dean and Stock. Critical reception for the film was mixed, but Pattinson received appreciation for his portrayal of a photographer. Guy Lodge of Variety called his performance a slight turn. Little White Lies said that Pattinson's performance is as crisp as the white shirt and black suits his character always wears. This is a camouflage for his own problems that slowly unfurl, adding color and improving the film. David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter noted that Pattinson gives arguably the most fully rounded performance. In late 2015, Pattinson appeared in Brady Cobbett's directorial debut film The Childhood of a Leader, alongside Bernice Bejo and Stacey Martin. In the film, he played the dual roles, first a brief but crucial role of Charles Marker, a reporter in Germany during World War I, and later as an adult version of the leader. He received praise for his performance, which Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian called elegant, and Lee Marshall of Screen International described as excellent. In 2016, Pattinson appeared in Paramount Pictures and Plan B Entertainment's adaptation of The Lost City of Z, directed by James Gray. Premiered at the New York Film Festival, the film stars Pattinson as British explorer Corporal Henry Costin. Pattinson grew a heavy beard and lost 35 pounds of weight for the film, earning critical praise for his role. Matt Neck of NBP described him as one of the better actors working today. Keith Ulick in his review for Brooklyn Magazine called him subtle scene stealer. And Linda Merrick writing for Hey Guys find his performance an impressively subtle, yet brilliant. Pattinson next appeared in the Safdie brothers' neo-grindhouse thriller Good Time, as a bank robber, Connie Nikas, which he has described as a really hardcore kind of Queens, New York, mentally damaged psychopath, bank robbery movie. The film premiered in competition at 2017 Cannes Film Festival and proved a turning point in his career. Pattinson received unanimous praise from critics for his performance. Guy Lodge of Variety described it as his career peak. Eric Cohn of IndieWire called it his career best. And David Rooney of The Hollywood Reporter drew comparisons with Al Pacino's Sonny Wurtzig in Dog Day Afternoon, and ultimately noted it as his most commanding performance to date. Pattinson received his first nomination from Independent Spirit Award for Best Male Lead for his performance in the film. In August 2017, during promotion for Good Time, Pattinson wrote and starred in a short film for GQ titled Fear and Shame, which was described by the magazine as Robert Pattinson battles fame and fear to get a New York street dog shot on the streets of New York. The film narrates Pattinson's journey to buy a hot dog while avoiding media and fans in the hustle of the city. The AV Club called it bizarre and delightful, while IndieWire said that he's got bright and shimmering future. Zellner Brothers' Western comedy Damsel was his first comedy since his 2008 film How to Be. Pattinson portrayed Samuel Alabaster, an eccentric pioneer who traveled west in search of his fiancée. His performance was favorably received, as New York Post described it as hilariously oddball performance, and the AV Club find him easily the best thing about Damsel. As of June 2018, Pattinson has several projects in various stages of production. He has completed filming for Claire Denis's science fiction film High Life, in which he appears as an astronaut, and Robert Eggers' black and white dark fantasy horror film The Lighthouse, set in ancient seafaring myths world. He is also re-teaming with David Michôd in his adaptation of William Shakespeare's plays titled The King. He is also committed to star in 2 different novel adaptations, in Chirogueras Waiting for the Barbarians based on a 1980 novel by J.M. Coetzee, and in Antonio Campos' drama film The Devil All the Time based on a 2011 novel by Donald Ray Pollock. In addition, he will also star in Joanna Hogg's two-part romantic mystery films titled The Souvenir. Modeling. Pattinson began modeling at the age of 12, but his workload began to decrease 4 years later. In December 2008, he blamed the lack of modeling work on his masculine appearance. "When I first started I was quite tall and looked like a girl, so I got lots of jobs, because it was during that period where the androgynous look was cool. Then, I guess, I became too much of a guy, so I never got any more jobs. I had the most unsuccessful modeling career." Pattinson appeared in the advertising campaign for Hackett's Autumn 2007 collection. In November 2010, Pattinson was approached by Burberry to be the face of their brand with a £1 million deal, which he turned down. In June 2013, Pattinson was announced as the new face of Dior Homme fragrance and featured in the advertising campaign titled 1000 Lives, directed by Roman Gavras and photographed by Nan Goldin. This campaign has also featured the track Whole Lotta Love by English rock band Led Zeppelin. Goldin later released a book titled Robert Pattinson, 1000 Lives, collection of Pattinson's images from the campaign. In January 2016, he appeared in another campaign for Dior Homme shot by German photographer and director Peter Lindbergh. Next month, he was announced as the first ambassador of Dior Homme menswear and appeared in brand's 2016 fall collection campaign shot by Karl Lagerfeld. In 2017, he continued his association with Dior and appear in both their fragrance and menswear 2017 summer collection campaigns. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?